Hey guys, sitting in our 2021 Toyota Corolla Hatchback. It's the XSE model. Haven't done a lot of content around this car, but we've had it for a couple of years now. Clock's reading 9162 miles, so 9162 miles on it now. Car's performed flawlessly this whole time. No issues, no maintenance problems. Toyota includes 2 years worth of free maintenance, so it's cost us really zero in maintenance and any unexpected repairs this whole time that we've owned it in almost 9,200 miles. So unfortunately though, this car is getting traded in today, and we've decided to order a Model Y Performance from Tesla. Car came in today, so we'll be picking that up later and trading this in. And so I kind of wanted to do a owner review, little mini review, kind of likes and dislikes thing for this car, given that, you know, it's the last time we're going to be able to see it and drive it. So I guess we could start with, you know, some of the things that, you know, in my view, fell a little bit short in this car. And I would say the biggest one, because the other ones are probably going to be pretty nitpicky, but the biggest one is obviously lack of power. And it's all about what you're coming from, right? So this car we purchased after my wife's lease expired. She was driving an Infiniti Q50 Red Sport, you know, 400 horsepower car, and her lease expired. At the time, I wanted a Tesla, but I thought they were going to be making some changes to the Model Y. There was talk about going to the new battery cell technology and so on, increase range. So I was like, hey, let's get something that it's not going to lose value. We'll drive it for a little while. New Tesla comes out, we'll order that and sell the car that would have replaced the Infiniti. And the obvious choice was, you know, get a Corolla. You're not going to lose money. And so that's a big tangent, you know, but basically the big downside of this car is just absolute lack of power here. You could be mashing it, flooring it, and it's I guess maybe what you would expect out of a Toyota Corolla, but it's quite slow. You don't really notice it, you know, when you're just driving it daily. It's okay, but when there's a situation, you got to get on it, and really when you notice it is full throttle application. So first is okay, you kind of see the RPMs go. Second is not bad. By the time you're in third, it's just a crawl across the RPM range. It's just very, very slow gaining speed. So that would be probably the biggest downside of this car is the speed. It looks sporty, you know, this XSE package. You'd expect kind of some performance, but there's none to be had. And we do have the manual transmission, obviously, so 3-pedal driving has been super fun. Very smooth transmission, clutch is very smooth, so it's been great from that perspective. Just when you mash that gas pedal, not much happens. You know, you're sitting here yawning, waiting for this thing to do anything. So I would say that's probably the biggest dislike. The other next dislike, I would say, and now we're going to get into more kind of the nitpicky things, is in the XSE manual in 21, you did not have a choice to upgrade the stereo. The automatic, I think, was a JBL system, if I remember correctly, where you could spec an upgrade and get a better sound system. This one is whatever the stock Toyota unit is, and it's just terrible. It's very bad. It actually gives you a little bit of a headache after a while. So, you know, obviously you could fix it with aftermarket speakers and amp and whatever. We didn't do that, and it's been disappointing. The next biggest thing I would say is the size of the trunk. It's very, very small. There is the trunk lid that gets in the way, so even if you get a paper bag from a grocery store, that paper bag is taller than that lid allows it to be. So that lid's kind of like then resting on the grocery bags. So it's not only small depth-wise and width-wise, the height is also very small, given that lid. It's a hatchback, you'd expect a little bit more trunk space, but the sloping rear glass and the roof line and that lid in the back is makes that trunk, the utility of it is very small. So that's another thing. So it's a great like daily, but if you have a family and you need to throw things in a trunk regularly, it's gonna be difficult to deal with that. And then finally, what I would say is the placement of the USB here. So you use this port down here to get your Apple CarPlay in the main display, and this jack just happens to be kind of outside of the console, and when a tall person sits there, their knee just constantly is bumping against this jack. You almost feel like you're gonna break it when you're sitting there. So for me, when I'm riding passenger, it's very annoying. It's always poking me in the knee. So, you know, I was gonna look into maybe getting a 90-degree USB cable, but the one other concern is when we tried aftermarket USB, the Apple CarPlay didn't work that well, so we had to go back to the OEM Apple cord for consistent Apple CarPlay use. So that's kind of my list. We'll also get my wife's perspective on what she thinks, maybe a couple things if she has anything to add. But, you know, again, it kind of nitpicky. Car, you know, if we go into the likes now, it's been amazing. Like I said, no issues whatsoever, no unscheduled maintenance. All the included maintenance is free, so no issues there. Fit and finish has been excellent. All the panel gaps, how everything's put together, the leather steering wheel, leather shift knob, the soft dash, it's just been great. No concerns whatsoever about fit and finish in here. And one of the bigger reasons that I went with the hatchback, not only the looks, but also that it's made in Japan. So to me, I wish all the Japanese manufacturers just stayed in Japan. That culture puts cars together way better than anybody else in the world. So I just wish that, you know, when you buy a Toyota or Honda or whatever, that it's made in Japan. I think they're doing themselves a disservice by producing their cars elsewhere. And this one, again, you could tell a difference when a car is put together in Japan. That culture has a different view of quality and ownership of their workmanship, right, and their pride in it. So that's been flawless here. I like the way the car looks too. I think it's a pretty cool looking car. So they did a nice job with the design. Toyota's, it feels like their designers are paid by the crease they put in the sheet metal. And you look at you know, a lot of their product, it's just creased all over the place. And you know, I'm not going to say this one's an exception, but I think it's a better product out of their design team. So okay, we talked about dependability, no issues whatsoever. Fit and finish, the looks, and I would say the biggest one is the value, right? The goal, as I mentioned before, was to buy a car that was not going to lose any value, not going to depreciate at all during our time of ownership. And this car is outperformed in that regard. So I have the sticker here when we purchased this car. It's basically, there's not a lot of options to be had here. So the only one that we have is, it's a special color because this one is a supersonic red with a black roof. So that option was $425. And the black, yeah, okay, so I guess what they're calling supersonic red is $425. The black roof, spoiler, and side mirrors are $500. And then the only other thing on here is the all-weather floor liner package. So we have rubber mats in the car from the factory. So including the $995 delivery, processing, and handling fee, this car stickered at $25,834. We also got a discount at the time, so that was kind of rare, but we did get a discount from the dealer on this car, even though we actually had to kind of order it, right? We called around many dealers, and they had an allocation for this car, and we actually waited a month for a Corolla. I thought that was crazy, like it was some kind of a, you know, I was waiting for a Porsche or something. So we waited a month to receive this, and we did end up negotiating a small discount. I think it's about $500 off sticker at that time. So 20, even at sticker price, $25,834, the trade-in offer, right? So we're not selling retail, we're not selling private party, auction, or anything else. We're trading this into Tesla, and Tesla's trade-in offer on this car is $25,900. So effectively 2 years and 9,000 miles of driving have been free to us. So that's got to be my number one. Like, you can't do really better than that. Cars are typically depreciating assets, especially cars of this class, right? This is not a hypercar, supercar. It would tend to depreciate, and this one hasn't depreciated a penny, right? Obviously, we're going to lose some tax that we paid, registration fees, right? We did a tint. We bought some accessories like the door sill guards and the blackout package for the back that we have videos on the channel for. We also did a HomeLink mirror, because there's no HomeLink in this car from the factory, but there is a Toyota OEM part that gives you the HomeLink buttons on the bottom. So we did that. That was a pricey thing to do. But outside of those kind of elective spending, we're essentially been driving this car for free for 2 years and 9,000 miles. So extremely happy. Cars served us well. Anybody that's going to get it after us is going to be lucky. They're going to enjoy it. We've taken care of this car. It's never been through a car wash, only touchless or hand wash. So people are going to be, I think, happy with this car for many years to come. So that's my take on it. Let's see if the wife has...
No, you covered it all. I think you're really good.
Any opinions here?
Well, I enjoyed driving this car. It was mostly my car. I loved it. I love the color. I get compliments, especially from the young kids that happen to walk by the car as I'm loading the groceries in. They love the color. Comfortable seats. Actually, I'm short, so for me to get to all 3 pedals was a big deal. It's always a big deal in any of the cars. And this one, I got my position right. I have, you know, the steer, everything to me was pretty comfortable. So for the 2 years, I really liked it. I liked my having fun on the speed stick here. So it was good. It was good to me. I'll miss the car, but I'm excited for the fast Tesla that we're about to get.
All right, so there you have it. That's kind of our sum up of 2 years of ownership of this car. Been a great car. Looking forward to the Tesla and getting some power, and gonna miss the manual transmission, but that's what the Porsche is for. So thanks for watching. See you next time.
See you next time.
Punch it.